Do you think that, because Jamie Carragher had some good quotes last week saying, yes, he does want Liverpool to sign Isak, but he thinks it's a heck of a lot of money. And also, again, like you're saying, at the back, that's somewhere they need to strengthen too. If it was one or the other, I'm not saying that it is, but if it was one or the other, would you prioritise centre-back rather than Isak?
After yesterday, I'd say centre-half, yeah. After yesterday, so much quality at the top end of the pitch. Verts was brilliant, little pockets that he picks up a space, moves the ball really well. A lot of the game went through him. And Ekitike showed his quality, not only scoring the goal, because the goal was brilliant, first touch, etc., but his hold-up play was superb. Little flicks around the corner, bringing the defender in, little up, back and throughs. He was superb, and as watching as a centre-forward, I thought he was phenomenal yesterday, yeah.
How impressed have you been with Liverpool's transfer business, though? Because they won the league, and sometimes you can probably understand an owner saying, well, we won the league, we don't need to do that much. But Milos Kerkez has come in, Florian Wirtz, who you've mentioned, Jeremy Frimpong has come in. Now, Mohamed Ashbili, that was actually done last year, but he's come in, so that money's gone out of the account. Got Hugo Ekitike as well, who you've mentioned too. So they've won the league, and then they've gone out and done that.
I think you can't argue with the business. The business they've done has been fantastic, right? And they've won the league. Yes, they won the league. The other teams obviously couldn't catch them, but also they was winning continuous. Their form was so good that even when they drop points, they end up going and win 5 or 6 games on the bounce. However, they've won the league, and instead of just resting on their laurels, they've gone, right, we're gonna add to this team. Arne Slot said, OK, we'll go through the year and not add no one in. And they was phenomenal, right? Probably didn't think they'd win the league, and not the way they did. But this time, they've added the firepower in areas that Liverpool needed. But lost Trent, Jeremy Frimpong come in. Andy Robertson's getting older, bringing Kerkez. Now, that's a straight swap. Andy Robertson's not giving up his position, is he? Let's be honest. Florian Wirtz has come in. He was the wow factor, the wow signing. And I've got to be honest, nobody thought that Ekitike was coming to Liverpool, because everyone thought he was going to Newcastle. But then there's the power. As soon as Liverpool come in, Ekitike, eyes opened, and next minute he signed for Liverpool. I think they've done fantastic business.
Well, we should mention it. Business is two-way, isn't it? Darwin Núñez, 56.6 million. Trent Alexander-Arnold, OK. They did end up getting £10 million from him, didn't they, in the end? Kevin Kelleher, 18 million. Jarell Quansah for 35 million. Luis Diaz was, of course, 60 million. Tyler Morton, they got £15 million from Lyon for him, as well as another £3 million for Nat Phillips as well. Does it annoy you when you sometimes see or hear people talk about how much a club has spent without taking into account what they've recouped?
But I think it's almost along that bit. No one really wants to talk about that bit, because Jurgen goes, oh, their transfer business, look at the players they're bringing in, etc. Yeah, that's fine, but look at the players they've moved out of the door and the money they've brought in. So it's allowed them to spend the money they have and attract the players. They attract the players because of how well they've done on the pitch last season. There's no getting away from that. But the business they've done of the players going out, they've got some serious money in.
Well, let's bring in a Liverpool fan then. Peter Bolster is going to talk to us now. Peter, I believe you're joining us live from Greece as well, so we very much appreciate your time. You could be out there in the sun, but I do want to just remind you of your prediction yesterday. I'm told that you said that Liverpool would win 5-1, and of course, Crystal Palace won on penalties. How worried are you with what you saw?
I'm not very worried, to be honest with you. It wasn't a very good display from Liverpool, to be honest with you. I've watched Liverpool's attacking, talents throughout pre-season, so that's why I went a bit bold. If you're going to go bold, you go early, don't you? And it's not the biggest thing riding on it, to be honest with you.
Well, there's a lot riding on Alexander Isak, isn't there? He's not a Liverpool player yet, and I know that Liverpool are obviously in for him. But we've been asking, Charlie and I have been talking about maybe Liverpool's need to bring in a centre-back as well. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely. But I think very much the conversation is going to be about signing a centre-half, because Liverpool have been short. And we have been caught short a few seasons ago, and everyone remembers that season where Virgil van Dijk got an injury, Joel Matip, and obviously Joe Gomez. We started with 3 centre-halves, and all 3 of them were out injured, and we ended up with Nat Phillips playing there. So obviously people are going to point to that, and there was some defensive mishaps yesterday, but really yesterday as well, there was a real problem with the attacking elements of Liverpool, because they was playing very well in that first half. But what was brilliant about Liverpool last season was when it wasn't going quite right or when you needed something different, you was able to bring on a Cody Gakpo or a Luis Diaz. And yesterday, as soon as you took Ekitike off, that's when the problems occurred. Liverpool then started to lose that momentum in the game, and it was the finishing yesterday as well. Because if we were more clinical, the game would have been put to bed. But to go back to what you're saying, the point there is that Liverpool, it is absolutely essential to sign a centre half because it underpins everything. All our transfer business. I've heard a little bit about what's just been said on the show, and it's fantastic what Liverpool have done in the transfer market. But if you don't finish off what needs to be done, then we're going to be left a bit short.
Yeah, Peter, I'm going to ask you this in a minute, but Charlie, I'm just going to bring you in. If you're in that Liverpool dressing room, can it be a distraction when you know that there is so much focus on the attempts to sign Isak?
I think there can be, but more excitement because you want a player of that quality coming in. But that don't get away from the fact that they would know in the changing room, we look like, we've only got 3-4 centre-halves, we need another one in the door. So as much as the continuous talk is about Isak, ultimately it'll be more excitement than what it will be a distraction.
Peter, are you happy with the fact that we are actually talking about your need for a centre-back as well as just Isak? Because that means that people are able to see that.
Yeah, most certainly, yeah. I think I can answer a little bit as well then about how you'd feel in that Liverpool dressing room. If you sign for Liverpool Football Club, you've got an elite mentality, or you certainly should have. So whoever's coming in, if there's talk of Isak coming in, you know that. You get excited to be part of that. I think if you're Mohamed Salah there, you're thinking, wow, this is exactly why I've signed my contract. So I don't think anyone will be worried about Liverpool signing or being linked with someone like Isak. I think they'd be very, very excited because for me, Liverpool are the Premier League favourites. But if we sign someone like Isak, you're talking about the European Cup then as well.
Yeah, at this stage, how disappointed would you be after how good last season was, and we've all been praising the transfer business too, and there's still 3 weeks to go. How disappointed would you be now if you didn't win the Premier League?
Very much so, but I think it's 41 years since Liverpool retained the title. I know we talk about we've won 2 in the last five years, is it 6 years? And there was obviously that big 30-year gap. But it's actually a long time since Liverpool fans have seen Liverpool retain the title. So for my generation and many other, a couple of generations now, we've not seen that. So that would be fantastic, wouldn't it, if we could do that? But I would be disappointed. It's the most confident and content I've ever been as a Liverpool fan going into a season. That doesn't win you anything. But I would be disappointed, but nothing is guaranteed in football. Nothing's guaranteed in life, is it? So you don't win the Premier League in August. You have to do that in the coming months. But no, it's an exciting time being a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, Charlie, I did just pick out that Peter said that if Isak comes in, you can't just aim for the Premier League, or aim for the Champions League as well. Quite as simple as that, of course.
No, it's not, but it certainly puts you right up there in the conversation, don't it? Let's be honest, that is almost like the cherry on the cake. But I, again, agree with what he's saying. It's great business, but if you don't get in a centre-half, then you almost leave the door ajar, and Liverpool don't want to do that. One thing that's not been said a lot, and I'll Peter still there, and that is how Mo Salah played yesterday. It wasn't his best game. Yes, we know how good he has been since he signed and over the years. He scores goals, etc. And last year, when the games weren't going right for Liverpool, Mo Salah could pop up for a little bit of magic and Liverpool would win the game. But yesterday, for me, it looked like he was out on the wing and he just wasn't involved. And Florian Wirtz was going more over into left-sided pocket more and nowhere near him. I'd like to see them two link up a bit more. So I know it's early doors. It is a Charity Shield. Like I said yesterday, for me, I see the game a little bit more because I thought it was more than the boring that it has been over the years. But for me, yesterday, I was disappointed in Salah, yeah.
Well, Peter, you don't very often hear somebody criticising Mo Salah. What do you think to that?
No, I think it's warranted. I think yesterday he was pretty poor, even down to his penalty miss at the end. And I think what was very disappointing about his penalty miss, he done exactly the same thing the week before. But if you have watched him in pre-season, as I have, he's been absolutely sensational. He looks very sharp, very ready for the season. I think yesterday was just a bit of an off day. I think with the forgetting as well that the team has very much changed. I think there was 5 or 6 players missing from what finished the season last season. So it's going to take time for players to bed in. The midfield 66% of the midfield was missing yesterday. We've got 2 of the back 4 changed. The goalkeeper's been missing for a couple of weeks, so all that continuity is just missing in the Liverpool side. So I think it's just normal. But Salah dropping into midfield and on that right hand side, he's exactly right. He wasn't good yesterday, but if you watch him, he's been electric, and his playmaking role. I always say he's like the Harry Kane on the right hand side. He's so creative and he's so involved. So I think when we see him on Friday night against Bournemouth, I don't think we'll be disappointed with his performance then.
Peter, from Greece, you've earned yourself a pint of mythos. Enjoy.
Cheers, thank you.